Welcome back to Skyline Spew. I'm your host, James Santor. I got a very special guest today. Got the newest Philadelphia Philly. I got Mike Adams here. Mike, how you doing, brother?
Good. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Your story is pretty amazing. I really can't wait to hear the full story. But I first got to say, shout out to our mutual friend, roommate Joe Ravert, for helping setting this up. But I live with Joe now. You live with Joe when you guys play for the Rockland Boulders. Shout out Joe.
Yeah. Oh man, Joe and I trained together, lived together for a couple months. He's the man.
Yeah. So thank you, Joe. I was telling Mike before the show. It's funny because I never had met or spoke to Mike before this, but I feel like all the stories that Joe had told me that I feel like I know him already. So, but excited to actually get the chance to meet you formally, and again, congratulate you on all the amazing news and success you've had, especially these past few days. But I think it starts even before that, though, because you've been doing some amazing things with baseball even prior to getting signed with the Phillies yesterday. So, what have you been doing with Baseball Performance Center? How did it all start? And how did you helping kids and helping kind of that next generation of baseball players kind of get you to where you are now?
Yeah. So probably 4 years ago, when I was actually playing with Joe in Rockland, another teammate of ours, or my partner now, Ed Charlton.
I played against him in high school too, by the way. I went
did you really?
to Jersey, yeah, in St. Augustine, man.
Oh.
They the best worst game of my life, and it was a Diamond Classic, and I pitched 7 innings in relief, and they won in the bottom of the 13th. So
Really, what high school did you go to?
Eastern.
Eastern. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Ed, honestly, Ed was a stud back then. I mean, he got drafted by the Reds, went to NJIT. So we were playing together, and obviously we're both in the same town. Grew up together, so we always had ideas of starting a facility. A little bit of a different than most facilities with how the style is and how we're going to do things. So we kind of started with that 4 years ago. My dad and my grandfather owns an oil company that is a family business. My dad works there. Aunts, uncles, they all work there, and they had an empty warehouse basically, that they allowed us to use. So we had to clear it out, renovate it. Started with a small space, and as we got more guys, we just continued to grow it and grow it and grow it, and find new ways to help guys get better. And from there, that's kind of how it all started.
It's awesome, man. I mean, I think there's definitely a market and there's a need for places like that because, I mean, especially as more and more technology is being used to help these kids grow and utilize all that they have, having a place that they feel comfortable going and they can really learn and kind of nurture that talent and skill set is really important. So a lot of kudos to you for kind of doing that and achieving your dream with your buddy from, growing up. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I go to work every day. Like I look forward to going in, which is, I'll never complain about that. You get to hang out with college, pro, high school kids all day long, and help them throw and get better. So I mean, it's a pretty fun job.
It's awesome, man. And then so you parlayed that, and again, you had already played professional baseball with the Boulders and had a great college career at Wagner, and then now, obviously, as of yesterday, you're a part of the Phillies organization, which is pretty awesome considering you grew up a Phillies fan, right?
Yeah, diehard since I was born, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're literally living every kid's dream, and it's so cool. And, I got to ask, so how did it go from, obviously you were successful and you're very talented, before, and then now your fastball is up to 98. Is it really from kind of teaching and learning from teaching these kids, or did it kind of just come like later in life? Like, how did it all happen?
I mean, obviously, the best way to learn things is to do them yourself. So obviously, we just really study how the best throwers move, what movement patterns, how the arm works, how their hips work. So obviously, just years of watching video and tinkering stuff. I kind of use myself as a guinea pig, just because if I can learn things and feel certain things and be able to do them, it's going to help me help others do them and be able to describe it in different ways, because everyone learns different. So, if I say one thing to one kid, it might not make sense to another kid. So me being able to do it and like think about what I'm feeling when I'm doing it, really help me learn it a little bit more. But yeah, I basically use myself as a guinea pig over the years and, try to make things look a certain way, try to move a certain way. And then, gradually, I mean, I've been playing in the men's league for the last 3 years, so I still pitch all the time, and gradually it's just creeped up. I mean, especially in the last year. But yeah, I like kind of use myself. Like I didn't really have a throwing program. I would just kind of go in and wing it and throw and test things, and that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, it's crazy because I feel like in college for us, it was always like we had to do this really regimented throwing program, and everybody kind of did the same thing for the most part. But I always kind of wondered, like, is there something more? Again, because everybody's so different, every single arm's so different. Like you have to figure out what's right for you. And it seems like that's kind of what you did. Now, is there like a specific thing per se that you figured out that's really helped you more than something else, whether it be using your legs more, whether it be doing a certain thing as far as your regiment? Like, what is that one thing that you really felt the biggest difference with?
For me, it was my back leg mechanics were probably the biggest thing. Obviously, I tweaked with the arm action and being more closed at foot strike, but getting my pelvis to rotate down, getting to build some tension over the rubber was kind of the biggest thing for me. That's something that I struggled with in college, in Rockland. Like it was just something that I didn't understand the concept. I didn't understand how to do it. And it took a while of feeling certain things and actually understanding how the body moved to really get it for myself.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's again in a much less successful scale. I felt kind of the same way. Like I struggled a lot in my college career of just being able to throw strikes and be consistent. But as I've kind of gotten older, and I still play in the men's league with Joe now too, it's like I kind of had like this second life of like I kind of understand the human body more, and therefore I can kind of pitch more effectively to what I have my skill set is because of that. So like it's tough, especially like I mean you're again living the dream in the sense that you're young and you're old at the same time of like young in a general age but old in a baseball age. But sometimes like that extra few years of learning really can make that big difference. And it's like your arm is still pretty fresh, all things considered now, and you got a lot left in the tank, which is freaking awesome. So I guess my next question is, as far as signing with the Phillies, and I know you did a showcase or a tryout, whatever it may be called, but at MSI. And did it come down to the Phillies? Were they the only team? Were they the first team? Like, how did the Phillies kind of get there? Or was that just really like the dream is you just want to play for them? Like, how did it all happen?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously after that, a couple teams called and they're like, yeah, give us a day or two. We'll see what we can do. I mean, obviously some teams are turned off by the age and, having no real stats for the last 3 years. But the Phillies were the first team to offer. So, I mean, obviously for me, that was, I mean, if I could handpick a team, I would pick them. So that was awesome. I mean, it was between them and the Yankees. They were the first two that offered. And the Phillies, the Phillies were the first one. They're the hometown team. So obviously it was a pretty easy decision.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I know the Phillies have done a great job, especially locally. I know they got Jeff Singer, who's another local guy, a few years back, and I think he was working at like a car dealership. And the next thing you know, he's on the spring training roster, and the whatever they called the preseason this year. But it's pretty awesome that they're kind of seeing the opportunities with guys like yourself that have been working really hard. Even though again, you may not have the stats that some guys that have been in the minors for years have, but you still have the talent and you have that. Nobody knows the ceiling yet, so you're gonna have that opportunity to show yourself. And I guess what are next steps for you? So where are you gonna start the year off, and how are you getting ready, and when's it all start?
I mean, that was the one thing when they called. They're like, hey, we'll give you all the details. The only detail we don't know is when spring training is going to be. They said assuming April, Mayish. They don't even really know. And then from there, I'll just go to spring training. And depending on, how it goes, they'll send me to whatever affiliate that they think. I mean, obviously being a little bit older, they're probably going to throw me to the Wolves and, hopefully stick from there. But yeah, I mean, for me, throwing wise, I mean, I realistically wasn't even on kind of a throwing program or a lifting program, so I'm going to have to figure that out. But I mean, just continue to throw each week, and getting ready to, be able to go to actually face live hitters soon, and then kind of go from there.
When's the last time you faced a live hitter? Was it at the showcase?
So the showcase was just a bullpen setting, but the last time I faced a hitter, I mean, probably this summer in the men's league. Yeah, so probably, I mean, I guess August.
Yeah, it's like Joe and I were watching the bullpen on Twitter, and we both said like the way, first off, it looked effortless. It was an effortless 98, which is pretty. You don't hear that too often. But it was down in the zone, like you were throwing strikes. I feel like a lot of times, especially with social media now, you see a lot of guys that have been able to kind of find that velocity. They've been able to kind of again get that second life, but tends to be a little bit wild. And it's like, okay, that's cool. You're throwing 98, whatever it is, but you can't throw strikes. Can't throw strikes. But I mean, you were low in the zone. It was sharp. It looked effortless. I mean, I think it looks like there's more in the tank, honestly, which I'm excited to see when you touch triple digits. But I mean, the Phillies need arms, and I think again, like you said, they're going to feed you to the wolves. But with your success, if you can have the success that I think you're going to have, man, we're going to be seeing you in the Citizens Bank Park real soon.
I really hope so. I mean, yeah, that's ideally the goal.
Yeah, it's just so cool too, because I feel like, especially with all the kids you work with, like you are the perfect role model for them, and I think there's people need that, especially in times like this. Like I know it's, I coach too and at the Philadelphia Bell Ringers, and a lot of the kids that are hanging around the place are kids in college right now that are really struggling with the fact that, one, they didn't have like a fall season to get ready for the spring season. Two, their spring season is like completely different than it normally is. And it's like, what are they going to do next? And they're all so worried about, because every kid wants to play professional baseball. And they're like, how am I going to get there? But, somebody like yourself that can continue to work hard and continue to do good things with baseball and really make a name for yourself. I mean, you kind of have given people that, again, that optimism that they can do that too. So it's really awesome for this community of baseball in Philly and in Jersey and everywhere else around here in the tri-state area. So again, it's just awesome to watch this from afar, and I can't wait to see you do big things.
Yeah, I mean, that's ideally what BPC was kind of built on is, everyone's going to walk their own path. You can't look at somebody else's because theirs is going to be completely different from theirs. But that's kind of the culture and the environment that we wanted to build is, getting guys that are serious about their career and putting them all in one place, and they're all helping each other get better. It's actually pretty cool too, because we also had a kid sign with the Phillies this year out of high school. So now, and he hasn't played a season either. So we'll both be going down there right together. Awesome. His name's Jake McKenna. Yeah. So he's going to be, I guess we're essentially going to be, in the same spring training together, which is awesome. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I mean, we have a good group of guys that are all local. And I think they're all good role models for the younger guys, like understanding that, this is what a pro athlete looks like. This is how they work. This is what they do. And, they were in my shoes, a couple years ago, and, they came here every day. They did what they're supposed to do. They ate how they're supposed to eat, worked out, the work ethic. And then from there, they turn themselves into a pro player, which is good for everyone to see and helps them understand that, it's not as far-fetched as, it may seem.
It's great, man. Yeah. Perfect role model. And again, I think, this story is going to influence a lot of kids to try to reach those big dreams they may have. And especially with COVID, again, it's been tough for a lot of these kids to keep them realistic. So you're going to be able to do that for them. So I got a few more joking questions for you to kind of end this here. Yeah. I ask these all the guests we have. So just get ready for some stupid, quick questions. But MJ or LeBron?
LeBron.
Okay. Who's more famous, LeBron or Justin Bieber? And this is the entire world.
Justin Bieber.
Okay. Room temperature water or ice cold water?
Ice cold.
How many alarms do you have in the morning?
How many what?
How many alarms do you have in the morning?
One that I snooze like 5 times probably.
That's the answer everybody's been given too.
Yeah.
And that's it. Those are the rapid fire questions I have for you. You're a big LeBron guy, and I'm surprised you didn't say LeBron for the most famous in the world, but
yeah,
respect.
I think the musicians get, they have a little bit of a broader pool to pick from.
I love it. Well, dude, it was great having you on the show. Just can't wait to continue to watch your story unfold here. When you're ready to make a movie out of it, hit me up. I'll help you out doing the storyboarding and all that stuff for it. But you got a lot of fans here locally and soon to be nationally. So congrats. Keep doing God's work and crushing it, and keep throwing heat.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man.
You got it, brother. Talk to you soon. Good luck.